Good evening, everyone. It's about that 6:30 time, so we'll wait just a few more minutes before we get started with the presentation. But I want to introduce our speaker for the night, our presenter. We're lucky to have Crystal Gonzalez from Citrus College. She's a financial aid technician, so an expert in the financial aid process from Citrus College to join us and present tonight. She's going to cover information on the types of financial aid, the new financial aid timeline, changes in new terms to the financial aid process, as well as how to get started completing the FAFSA, so the free application for federal student aid. Um, in addition, she'll share some resources that will be helpful for all students, regardless of what school they plan on attending. There will be some information that's specific to Citrus College, but most of the information is going to be in general. That's going to be useful for all families, regardless of what school they're planning on attending. If you have any questions, we do have a Q&A, so you can post your questions in there. All of our guidance counselors will be answering the questions that we can answer. And then Crystal will have some time after the presentation to answer any of those questions that we're unable to answer, so that you can get that information from an expert in the area of financial aid. We are going to be posting the slides as well as recording this presentation on the Claremont High School website, and you can find that under the counseling department page. And that should be posted in the next day or two under the counseling page. So we'll get started in about a minute or two, just for any people who joined, just to be a little bit late. I know there was a lot of practices that end at this time and a lot of other things. So we'll give just about a minute or two before we get started. I see the numbers starting to settle in, so we'll go ahead and get started. So I want to turn it over to Crystal Gonzalez, the financial aid technician from Citrus College, who's going to go over and give us all the ins and outs about the financial aid process.
Great, thank you very much. Right, let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, so as Mr. Anderson said, I will be going over topics. What is financial aid, FAFSA and CADA, and how to prepare. So the first one is, what is financial aid? So financial aid are funds that can help you pay for college or university. And this includes helping you pay for tuition and fees, living expenses such as food and housing, supplies and textbooks, and transportation. So the cost of attendance is the total estimated costs associated with attending a specific college or university for one academic year. Financial aid is awarded for 1 year. Why is this important? Cost of attendance is one of the determining factors of how much aid you can qualify for. So, for example, living with parents has a smaller budget than if you're living off campus. And the cost of attendance also refers to the maximum aid you can receive in one academic year. Types of financial aid are grants, funds that can typically don't need to be repaid. There are two types of funding, which is one is federal, one is state. Pell Grant and a Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant are examples of grants that are federally funded. The California College Promise Grant, Cal Grant, Student Success Completion Grant are examples of grants that are state funded and are unique to California. Scholarships are funds awarded that can be merit-based, such as academic, athletic, artistic achievements, etc., or need-based. The source of scholarships can be educational institutions, government, or private organizations. At Citrus College, the Foundation Office receives funds provided by donors to put toward scholarships. There is a yearly application for current students that opens around April for the upcoming year. We expect that the application for students will open around April 2024 for the 2024-2025 academic year. Now, one of the important things of scholarships is essay writing. And for the 2023-2024 academic year, Citrus College hosted a scholarship workshop, which provided valuable information on how to write an essay for scholarships. The workshop was recorded and is accessible to all, so you can find this recording on our website. And even if you're not applying to Citrus College specific scholarships, it can be a helpful tool for applying to other scholarships and different types of funding. Federal Work Study is a part-time work for students with financial need. A variety of departments at Citrus College, and not just at Citrus College, any university or other college, can have work study employees. And so, for example, at Citrus College, some of the departments that regularly ask for student employees are like admissions and records, the STEM Center, mathematics tutor, early childhood teacher assistant, or you could even work at the financial aid department with us. This can be a great opportunity to gain work experience, especially if you don't have much or any. And we also have a page dedicated to current job openings for students that is regularly updated. So if your student is interested in working, you can always look at the current job openings on our website. Federal loans are funds that must be repaid, often with interest. Examples include federal direct subsidized loans, federal direct unsubsidized loans, and federal direct Parent Plus loans. All of these loans are borrowed through the Department of Education and will need to be repaid when you separate from school. While you remain in school in the minimum of 6 units, you will not have to start repaying loans. I'm just going to skip over this slide for now. For the 2024-2025 year, there's 2 applications. If you are considered a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, or eligible non-citizen, then you should apply using the FAFSA application. And if you are considered AB 540 eligible, you should apply using the California DREAM Act application. And you can always contact admissions and records to determine AB 540 eligibility at Citrus College or the college or university that you're attending. For the 2024-2025 year, the FAFSA application is going through substantial changes. One of the most notable changes is the number of questions. In previous applications, there were 108 questions. The new application is going down to 36 questions. Another change is the Direct Data Exchange, previously known as the IRS Data Retrieval Tool, which will be required for all applications with limited exceptions. Now, one of the terms that has changed is account username and password, which will be replacing the FSA ID. This is used to log into all federal student aid products and tools on studentaid.gov. Student Aid Index will be replacing expected family contribution. The SAI is a calculation of your approximate financial resources that you can contribute toward your college education for an award year. Schools use your SAI to create your financial aid offer. Once you complete your FAFSA application, you will be provided with your SAI. If your SAI is high, you may not be eligible for need-based aid. If you or your parents' income has changed in 2022, talk to the financial aid department to see what options are available to you. FAFSA contributors. Contributors can include student, spouse, biological or adoptive parents, spouse, including step-parent, and prepare. Your answers on the FAFSA will determine if any contributors need to provide financial information on your application. Contributors can create an account and password to consent to their federal tax information being transferred into the FAFSA. Every contributor must provide consent for you to be eligible for federal student aid. This is the 2024-2025 timeline. So as of right now, we've recently learned that the applications will become available December 31st, 2023. Normally, the FAFSA and CADA applications become available October 1st for the upcoming year. However, due to the changes the applications are going through, it has been delayed. This means that the priority deadline has also been extended. Normally, the priority deadline is March 2nd, but as the application has been delayed, the deadline has been extended to April 2nd. In April or May of 2024, you should contact the financial aid department to check the status of your financial aid. And then around May or June of 2024, award letters are typically sent out. How can you prepare now for the upcoming application? You can get a head start by creating a username and password before the application's open. Do note that for FAFSA applications without contributors, without a social security number, the account process is still a little unclear. As of right now, we know that you'll be able to check mark a box that will allow you to create an account without a social security number. And there will be some questions that you need to answer to verify your identity. These are the recommended documents you want to have available to assist you in completing the FAFSA or CADA application. So you'll need the 2022 tax returns. Make sure to have your and your parents complete an accurate 2022 tax returns, including all relevant schedules and attachments. Any records of child support received, make sure to include any documentation related to child support payments received during the applicable tax year. Any of your current balances of cash, savings, and checking accounts, make sure to provide the most up-to-date information on your cash reserves, savings, and checking accounts. Any net worth of investments, businesses, and farms, compile comprehensive details on the net worth of your investments, businesses, and farms. This may involve statements, valuations, and other relevant financial documents. Now, some of these documents may not apply to all of you. If you are considered a dependent student, please speak to your parents about these documents so that you have all the necessary documentation. Now, if you'd like assistance in completing your FAFSA or CADA application, join us for a workshop. Citrus College will be hosting a Cash for College virtual workshop on Wednesday, January 17th, 2024 from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can use the QR code to register, and we will be helping with completing your FAFSA or CADA application in small group format. Now, we do understand that circumstances change. So if you're experiencing any of the following financial challenges, be sure to reach out to the financial aid department for more information on what resources and options are available to you. For example, if you or your parents have experienced loss of job or reduced income, you can request a student aid index appeal to have your financial aid eligibility reconsidered. If eligible, you may qualify for additional aid. Get in contact with our office, the financial aid department, in April or May of 2024 for more information. Lastly, we are here to help you. The financial aid department is in the student services building of the campus, and here are different ways to contact us.
So I know everyone's posting questions in the Q&A. Do we want to start reading those questions out and you answer them live, or do you want us to continue to answer those questions?
Oh, I can answer them live, sure.
So there is one question: does net worth of investments include any retirement accounts?
It does depend on the type of retirement account. So let me just get that for you. One moment.
And they're starting to come up. So as you're looking at that, we do have another. How do you get the username and password?
So to create a username and password, you would just go onto the studentaid.gov website and create an account. Right now, only those that have social security numbers are able to create an account with like under the FAFSA application. Right now until December 31st, those without social security numbers will then begin to be able to create accounts.
All right. Next question is, what is 540 eligibility? I think they may be referring to the California NACADA.
I read it as a question on AB 540, who's eligible for it, and that would be students who were not born in the U.S., do not hold U.S. citizenship, but have been in California schools for the last 3 years would be eligible for AB 540 financial aid to stay in California for their education.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Hebert. The next question, does the student or the parent fill out the FAFSA?
So the application will be filled out under the student's account. However, any contributors, such as parents, will need to create an account to provide any information, such as income.
If I could, Ms. Gonzalez, a parent asked earlier about with the students who have divorced parents. The parent was asking if on the FAFSA, it's the custodial parent who provides information or the one who provides primary support, or the parent that claims the child as a dependent. I've read that the new FAFSA is changing some of those questions and who responds to that. Can you give us a little bit more information on that, please?
Yes. So in this case, it's going to be the parent who provides the most support within the last 12 months financially.
Regardless of time spent with the child?
Correct.
Okay.
We have a question. California Aid uses the FAFSA as well.
I'm so
Not
sorry.
sure. I'm not sure if they were referring to Cal Grant and the difference between the Cal Grant and filling out the FAFSA.
Oh, I see.
If you want to just explain the difference between Cal Grant and the FAFSA.
Okay. So when you're applying for through the FAFSA application, the application will also get sent to the California Student Aid Commission, which is the entity responsible for awarding Cal grants. Now, this is where the deadlines are important. For a university, the April 2nd deadline is very much followed. So in order to be considered for a Cal Grant award, you will need to submit that application by April 2nd. Now, if your student is considering a community college, that deadline can go up to September 2nd. But we always encourage that April 2nd deadline just because since students may not have decided what type of institution they're attending at, it's just better to meet that April 2nd deadline in case they're considering a university.
If I can also answer the question about California aid using the FAFSA, I think the question is asking about Cal Grant. And Cal Grant is money for California high school graduates to stay in California to attend college, public or private. And that is the Cal Grant program. Claremont High School uploaded all of our senior GPAs to Cal Grant, the agency, to CSAC, the California Student Aid Commission, the agency that oversees Cal Grant. And the Cal Grant is out there waiting for your students, but it is required that you submit the FAFSA so that the Cal Grant information can populate in the financial aid offices to which your student is applying to school. So your students have been actively applying to colleges this fall. The next step is the financial aid piece. And on the FAFSA, your students will list the colleges that they are hoping to secure financial aid from. And if the FAFSA lists California colleges will also have your Cal Grant information and eligibility to give you and your student answers about how much aid money may be available for their education. But you must file the FAFSA to find out what your Cal Grant eligibility is.
We have another question. I have 2 kids going to college in 2024. What do I need to qualify for fee waivers? I'm not sure if they're asking about fee waivers for college applications, which is a different process. I'm assuming that this may be if they're applying to Cal State University or a UC, that's embedded within their college application. For the other colleges, if they're using Common App or either school-specific applications, students can qualify for fee waivers if they have filled out an application and qualify for the free and reduced school lunch program. They can receive fee waivers, or if they've received an SAT, a waiver for the SAT, they can also receive a waiver for some colleges for the application fee. If that question was referring to fee waivers for application fees. The FAFSA is free, so there isn't any fee in filling out the FAFSA. It's a free application. We have a question: will the Casper College workshop have a recording posted on the Citrus website? And the second part, also for the student part, jobs, will they have an effect if you take out loans?
So the student part-time jobs will not affect if you take out loans. Now, what ends up happening is you can only receive up to a certain amount of aid, which is, like I mentioned, the cost of attendance. So any funds that get awarded, such as the California College Promise Grant, the Cal Grant, the Pell Grant, all those start using up that cost of attendance or that budget. So if you borrow loans, then you might not be able to be awarded as much work study, for example, or same thing the other way around. You might not be able to receive as many loans because you might have more in work study funding. So it just depends on how much of each item you're applying for or aiming, like for example, how many loans you're requesting or the amounts, as well as how much work study funds you were awarded.
Perfect. And this is just wanted to verify that the tax return should be through the IRS and data retrieve.
So the IRS data retrieval tool is now being converted into the direct data exchange. So yes, like now you are required to provide all of that information through the direct data exchange.
Crystal, can you put up the QR code for the Cash for College? And I do want to answer that question. Someone asked if there would be a recording of the Cash for College, and no, there will not. Cash for College is an interactive experience. It's meant to take you through the FAFSA step by step and answer questions and help you fill out the FAFSA as you're going through it. So they don't have a recording. However, if you go to if you just Google Cash for College, there are numerous Cash for College presentations throughout the entire state through this entire FAFSA process. So if you can't attend the one that Crystal is showing on the screen here, there are other ones across the state. Some of them are on Zoom, some of them are in person. But I would encourage you, if you at all are feeling you may need support in that process, to please register for the Citrus College. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to attend Citrus College. It's just one of the many Cash for College workshops that will help you complete that FAFSA form. And theirs just happens to be on Zoom, where some of those Cash for College workshops are in person. And by the way, Crystal, I did look up through the website, and this particular one is not on the Cash for College website right now. So I encourage all of you to sign up for it before it fills up. But if you can't make this one, once again, go on the website, and there's various other ones throughout the state, throughout this entire process.
Thank you, Ms. Cizik. The next three questions are very similar. If I already have a FAFSA account for a student in college, do I create a separate account for the sibling as another incoming student, or do they keep the same login and information?
So every student will need their own account. That's how you would do the application. But for example, if you as the parent signed the other student's account, you would use that same account to provide information for the new incoming student.
Perfect. Let's see. Same one. I think this is a change this year, so if you can help answer this. I heard that FAFSA will not be considering how many students the family have in college. How will that affect our family contribution?
That is correct. So it can affect your eligibility. As of right now, there's really not a lot of information on that new FAFSA, but yes, that is definitely going to change your eligibility, and that is no longer going to be taken into account.
Looking through some of them that we've already answered, I think we are getting down to most of them. I think there was a follow-up to see if you were able to get information on the investment account.
So for investments, the ones that you would need to provide would be like educational benefits or education savings. For example, a Coverdell savings account and 529 college saving plans. Now, for the retirement loans, ABLE accounts, 401k plans, pension funds, annuities, non-education IRAs, kiosk funds, those do not have to be included.
I think Ms. Cizik answered this question. The recording the Cash for College events are not recorded, but they are free. So there is no charge for the Cash for College events.
Now, if you're referring to the workshop for the scholarship, that is on our website, completely free. You don't need any accounts to access it. And after this, I can show you how to access that recording for the scholarship workshop.
I think we have answered all of the questions. I'm just scrolling through to see if we missed anything. Yes, I think we don't have any new questions. Oh,
Yes.
there is one. Sorry, I think I missed it, but does the 529 count?
Yes, it does.
Would it be appropriate to talk briefly about the CSS profile? Some families may be already encountering this tool for financial aid. Ms. Gonzalez, would you like to respond, or would you like one of the counselors to speak about CSS profile?
The CSS profile, I don't know too much about it, since that is more typically private institution oriented. So if you know more about that, that would be
okay. So as you're looking at your financial aid options, please be aware that many private colleges and a few private ones, private colleges that is, will use the CSS profile. It's a different financial aid tool to identify what needs are. And this is to tap into institutional aid, private aid from the institution, separate from the FAFSA. So if you're applying for financial aid, step one will be the FAFSA. Always our recommendation that students and families complete the FAFSA. It opens up the door to scholarships, grants, loans, and gift aid like grants and work study also, which I neglected to mention. CSS profile is a separate form. It's required by some local colleges near us, like Pomona College, Scripps, USC requires the profile, Pepperdine does, and that is a way to identify your financial strength and also tap into financial aid money provided by the institution. It does cost a fee. It's $25 the first time, and the price lowers the second and multiple times you use it. There are fee waivers for the profile form. If your student is eligible for free or reduced lunch, it is free. And the profile form opened October 1st. The application deadline will vary per institution, but it's an excellent way to see if the institution has additional money to help provide for cost of attendance, tuition, fees, et cetera, room and board for your students. So if you see that on your school's application, the CSS profile, we want to make sure you know about it. And that form is already open. It did open October 1st.
Thank you. And I don't see any more new questions. I just want to encourage families, if you have the opportunity to attend one of the Cash for College events. They are very helpful and useful in walking you through the process. And you will leave there with all your questions answered, if not have your FAFSA completed. Definitely, if you haven't started, make sure that you get that PIN. That's your electronic signature on the form to get started, or when it opens on December 31st with that. And if you have any questions, we will share contact info. Is it okay if they contact the office at Citrus? Crystal, if you have any additional questions, yeah, the info is shared there with that. But again, those Cash for College events are extremely helpful. I know a lot of them are live. I know they're doing a lot of virtual events as well. that you can attend to get questions answered on completing the FAFSA. If there aren't any additional questions that I see, then thank you, Crystal. Again, we value the partnership with Citrus, with helping and supporting our families with financial aid and the many other things that you help support us through at Claremont High School. And thank you for taking time out because I know it's a busy time for you at Citrus with this whole process as well. So we definitely appreciate the support tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.